He made his Ironman debut at Ironman Mount Tremblant just a few weeks ago. He broke the bike course record. He broke the overall course record, and he beat Lionel Sanders, the great Lionel Sanders, in the process. He had never beaten Lionel before. 8 hours and 10 minutes for his Ironman debut, Cody Beals. So a couple of quick questions. First of all, Cody, what did that feel like to win that? I mean, when you knew it, it was a big win. You must have known a ways out from the finish line. At what moment did you realize you had it?
I was expecting Lionel to run me down at any moment because I've been on the receiving end of Lionel's runs on many occasions. I think we've raced close to a dozen times before then, and he's always caught me somewhere on the bike or the run. I knew it would take a dream day to hold him off, and I was in disbelief until I came down the finishing chute, and it didn't really settle in until after I started to speak to Mike Riley at the finish.
You took a number of years. I remember interviewing you 3 years ago, and even then people were saying, oh, you got to do an Ironman. I think in the interview I asked you when you were going to do an Ironman, and you said, no, I'm going to wait a few years. What gave you that patience and that dedication to keep going on at the 70.3 and then finally make that massive step up and with a phenomenal performance?
You know, there was certainly a lot of pressure to do an Ironman. I think in our sport, unfortunately, there's often this obsession with Ironman, and people kind of rush through sprint and Olympic and 70.3 or half distance racing, all in this mad dash to complete an Ironman. But I find those shorter distances really fun and really fulfilling in and of themselves. So I was happy to commit to this longer term plan to do an Ironman. Every time I've moved up in distance, I've always had a lot of respect for the next distance and wanted to get it right the first time around, not look at it just as a learning experience. So I committed to Ironman as a 3-year plan, basically going back to 2015, and it was a long time in the making, and it made it even more validating to finally get it right on my debut.
Awesome. Now, you and Taylor Reed and Jackson, you all trained together this winter. Jackson, how important was it to train with these two other great countrymen and athletes all winter long?
It's really important to just make those things a little mentally easier, to have someone there who's maybe one day I'm not feeling great and Cody's kind of pushing it and helping me get through it, or Taylor, or I mean, there's a big group there. We all swim together sometimes, the GTP group. But yeah, I mean, just having, especially Cody and I have done a lot of bikes and runs, and Taylor's been running with us lately too. On the weekends, the longer runs or bikes where sometimes you wake up and you just don't want to do it, and you know, lately it's kind of been Cody who's not wanted to do it. He's been his Ironman block and he's tired, but he comes out and he has a great workout anyways, and we help each other through it for sure. And we all want each other to succeed, and that's important, where, you know, we race each other, and of course we want to beat each other, but we don't want it to be, you know, someone has a bad day and gets a flat, and we all want success for each other, and I think that's the important part too. But for anybody, just having training partners that are similar ability level, or even not, just people to encourage you, is really, really helpful.
Question, did you want to ask that as well, Cody?
I wanted to add, Jackson's been kicking my butt all over Guelph for the past 2 years, and from some people's perspective, it may seem that he kind of just exploded onto the world stage this year with his first 70.3 win earlier this summer, but I've seen that in the making for a long time, and I really have the utmost respect for Jackson's process. I think people look at me like a meticulous athlete who's really dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but Jackson almost makes me feel like an age grouper, just with his attention to detail, with training, recovery, nutrition, his mental game. So, you know, he may be my junior in some respects, but I'm learning from him every day, and he's keeping me honest out there. And man, his cycling is next level right now. Like, my legs are still stinging from a couple weekends ago.
2:02 on the bike course today, Jackson Laundry. So there you go. What a great cycling. Last quick question for you. How important was it several years ago for both of you racing in the Multisport Canada circuit and getting that base of experience of racing frequently and in the environment?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, for me, when I first started kind of racing multisport, Lionel and Cody were just kind of getting towards the end of their stint with a lot of those races, and it was great for me to see, hey, look, these guys are beating me by 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it was, and this is my bar to shoot for, and that was kind of where I worked up from for those few years, and I was able to get to a point where I was winning a lot of those races, and then, you know, now I'm still doing the occasional one, and I think it's good. I go out and, you know, if I'm able to win, then somebody else can see, hey, look, you know, he's having success in pro racing, so maybe that's where I can get to. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was so important to see where the best guys were, and that was kind of my bar for sure. And having other guys pushing me, and Alex van der Linden, and, you know, some of my own teammates out there right on my heels a lot of the time, that was huge.
Cody?
Pro triathlon is a really difficult career path in a lot of ways, and I see a lot of people, very promising, talented athletes, far more talented than me in a lot of respects, fizzle out just because they can't make the jump financially, they can't commit the time. So for me, the Multisport Canada Series was really instrumental in bridging that difficult gap from kind of elite age grouper to a pro who's actually doing this full time, and being able to race, frankly, world-class guys every other weekend for a few years leading up to my pro debut back in 2014. That was absolutely instrumental because right away I was able to hit the ground running and be earning pro paychecks in the pro field due to that long development history with Multisport Canada. So we're very fortunate to have a series here that does such a fantastic job supporting our up-and-coming athletes. And I'm really glad I'm still able to keep in touch with this series, and perhaps one day you'll see me out on one of these race courses again soon.
We'd love to see that, Cody. Yeah, come on back and race with us anytime. Cody Beals, the 2018 Ironman Mount Tremblant champion and record holder, and your race winner at the 2018 Barrelman, Jackson Laundry. Thank you very much, gentlemen.